Chapter 1. The silence begins. The phone rang and rang and rang. I counted the rings. 23 of them. Then the machine picked up. Then my own voice came out of the speaker, telling my daughter to leave a message. I listened to the beep. I listened to the silence. Then I hung up. I looked at the clock. It was 6:07 on Sunday evening. My daughter always called at 6. That was our rule. She made it when she was 22 and moved away for graduate school. 10 years later, she still followed it. Rain or shine, sick or healthy, she called. I dialed again. This time I let it ring 30 times. Nothing. I left another message. Honey, it's Mom. Give me a call when you get this. Love you. I sat in my armchair by the window. I watched the sun go down over Akron. The sky turned orange and pink. Then purple. Then black. I kept my phone in my hand. It didn't ring. At 9 o'clock, I called Mark, my son-in-law. He answered on the third ring. That was unusual. He was usually quicker. Hello, his voice sounded tired. Or distracted. I couldn't tell. Mark, it's Carol. Is Emma there? There was a pause. A long pause. I heard him breathing. She's not here, he said. Not there. Where is she? She went out. Grocery shopping, I think. She forgot her phone. It's on the kitchen counter. At 9 o'clock at night, she's been stressed, Carol. She needed to get out. Get some air. I didn't like it. Something was off. I could hear it in his voice. The way he held his breath. The way his words came out too slow. Can you have her call me when she gets back? Sure. Of course. I'll tell her. I hung up. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in my bed and stared at the ceiling. I told myself I was being paranoid. I told myself Emma was a grown woman. She was 32 years old. She had a husband, a house, a good job. She was fine. But I couldn't shake it. Monday came. I called again at 9 in the morning. No answer. I called at noon. No answer. I called at 6. No answer. The machine picked up every time. I left 5 messages. I sounded more desperate with each one. I called Mark's work. His assistant said he was out sick. I called his personal phone. It went straight to voicemail. I left a message that was probably too sharp. I didn't care. Tuesday. I called the police. I explained the situation. The officer on the phone was polite. He was patient. But I could hear the boredom in his voice. He heard this all the time. Worried mothers. Adult children who just didn't want to talk. Ma'am, we can do a wellness check, he said. We'll send a car out. It might take a few hours, but we'll get someone there. I gave him Emma's address. I gave him Mark's cell phone. I gave him every detail I could think of. Then I waited. 4 hours later, the phone rang. I grabbed it. It was the officer. Ma'am, we went to the address. The house was secure. No signs of forced entry. Your daughter's car was in the driveway. We knocked. We didn't get an answer. We looked through the windows. Everything seemed normal. Normal, I said. How can you call it normal? She hasn't called me in 3 days. Maybe she's busy, ma'am. Maybe she just needs some space. It happens. He told me not to worry. He told me to give it another day. He told me to call back if I didn't hear from her. I thanked him. I hung up. I wanted to throw the phone against the wall. I sat in my kitchen. I looked at the clock. It was 6 o'clock again. I dialed Emma's number. I let it ring. On the 9th ring, I heard something. A click. Then breathing. Hello, I said. Emma, are you there? Nothing. Just breathing. Slow. Deliberate. Who is this? I said. Is this Emma? The line went dead. I stared at the phone. My heart was pounding. I called back. It went straight to voicemail. I called Mark. No answer. I called his work. He wasn't in. I called his mother. She didn't know anything. She said he'd been acting strange lately. Distant. Angry. She said she hadn't seen him in weeks. Wednesday. I couldn't sit still. I cleaned my house. I scrubbed the kitchen floor. I organized the pantry. I repotted my plants. I did anything to keep my hands busy. But my mind kept going back to that phone call. That breathing. That silence. I called the police again. I got the same officer. I told him about the call. He told me it could have been a wrong number. He told me to stay calm. Stay calm, I said. My daughter is missing. Her husband won't answer his phone. Something is wrong. I know it. Ma'am, we can't do a full investigation based on a missed phone call. There's no evidence of a crime. No witnesses. No suspicious activity. I wanted to scream. I wanted to drive to Columbus myself. But it was dark. I was 73 years old. My eyes weren't good at night. I'd been in 2 accidents in the past year. Nothing serious. But enough to make me cautious. I waited. Thursday. My hands were shaking. I couldn't hold a coffee cup without spilling. I couldn't eat. My stomach was in knots. I called Emma's work. They hadn't seen her in 6 days. She'd called in sick. Then she'd stopped calling. They couldn't get hold of her. They didn't know what to do. I called the hospital. I called the morgue. I called every place I could think of. No one had seen her. I called Mark's mother again. This time she was upset. Carol, she said. I don't know what's going on. He won't answer my calls either. He's never done this before. He's always been a good son. He calls every week. He visits. Something is wrong. She told me about Mark's job. He'd been fired 2 months ago. He hadn't told anyone. He'd been pretending to go to work every day. Pretending to earn a paycheck. Pretending everything was fine. Fired, I said. Why didn't anyone tell me? He didn't want anyone to know. He was embarrassed. He said he would find something else. He said he'd tell us when he got back on his feet. How did you find out? His boss called me. He was looking for Mark. He said Mark had been stealing from the company. They fired him. They were going to press charges, but Mark agreed to pay it back. I felt sick. Stealing. Lying. Hiding. Who was this man? What had he become? Thursday night, I packed a bag. I put my phone on the charger. I set my alarm for 4 in the morning. I was going to drive to Columbus. I didn't care about my eyes. I didn't care about the accidents. My daughter needed me. I didn't sleep. I lay in bed. I stared at the dark. I listened to my heart. It was beating too fast. Too loud. I counted the minutes. I counted the seconds. I waited for the alarm. At 4, I got up. I got dressed. I made coffee. I drank half a cup. My stomach wouldn't take more. I got in my car. It was a 2012 Honda Civic. Old. Reliable. It had over 100,000 miles on it. But it ran. It was all I needed. The drive to Columbus took 2 hours. The highway was empty. The sky was dark, then gray, then pale orange. The sun came up cold. I held the steering wheel with both hands. My knuckles were white. My jaw was tight. My eyes were dry. I hadn't blinked in miles. I pulled into Emma's neighborhood at 7:15. The streets were quiet. The houses were neat. Lawns cut. Mailboxes painted. Porches swept. Everything looked perfect. Too perfect. It looked like a picture postcard. The kind of place where nothing bad ever happened. Her house was at the end of the block. A small brick ranch. Her blue Honda was in the driveway. The curtains were drawn. I parked behind it. I turned off the engine. I sat there for a moment. I listened to my breathing. I tried to steady my hands. I got out. I walked up the front path. The flower beds were overgrown. Weeds were everywhere. The roses hadn't been pruned. That was not like my daughter. She loved her garden. She spent hours in it. She posted pictures of it on social media. She was proud of it. Now it looked like a jungle. Neglected. Abandoned. I rang the doorbell. I waited. I heard nothing. I knocked. Hard. I called her name. Nothing. I pressed my face to the front window. The curtains were drawn, but there was a gap. I could see inside. A lamp was on. A coffee mug sat on the table. Mail was piled up on the floor by the door. 2 days' worth. Maybe 3. I walked around the back. The gate was unlocked. I stepped into the yard. It was small. Fenced. A bird bath in the corner. A sad-looking tree. The back door was painted white. I tried the handle. It was unlocked. I went in. The kitchen smelled stale. Not like rotting food. Just old. Stagnant. A plate sat in the sink with dried eggs. A coffee cup was on the counter. The refrigerator hummed. The clock on the wall showed 7:22. It was right. I walked through the living room. The TV was off. The couch was neat. Books on the shelf. A blanket folded over the armrest. Everything looked normal. Too normal. It looked like a staged home. A display. Not a place where people lived. I stood in the middle of the room. I listened. The house was silent. No hum of the AC. No drip of a faucet. No footsteps above me. Just silence. Heavy. Thick. Then I heard it. Scratching. Soft. Rhythmic. Coming from upstairs. My heart stopped. My breath caught. I froze. I stood there for 10 seconds. 20. 30. I didn't move. I barely breathed. It came again. Scritch. 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 Like nails on wood. Slow. Deliberate. I walked to the stairs. Each step creaked. Loud in the silence. I climbed slowly. My knees hurt. My hips ached. I held the railing. My hand was shaking. The hallway was dark. The door to the master bedroom was closed. I put my hand on the knob. It was cold. So cold. It felt wrong. I opened the door. The room was a disaster. The bed was unmade. Clothes everywhere. Drawers pulled out. A lamp was knocked over. The closet door was open. Empty hangers swung back and forth. I saw the dresser. The mirror was cracked. A picture of my daughter and Mark on their wedding day lay on the floor. The glass was shattered. I took a step into the room. My foot landed on something. I looked down. It was a necklace. Emma's. A gold chain with a small heart. The one I gave her for her 25th birthday. I picked it up. It was warm. It had been worn recently. Scritch. 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 Under the bed. I dropped to my knees. I pulled up the bed skirt. My heart was in my throat. I couldn't breathe. I saw her hand first. Pale fingers. Motionless. Then her arm. Thin. Bruised. Then her face. My daughter's face. Eyes open. Staring at me. Mouth taped. Wrists bound. Her skin was cold. Her lips were blue. But her fingers moved. They scratched at the floor. Scratching. 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 She was alive. I ripped the tape off her mouth. She gasped. It was a horrible sound. Guttural. Wet. She coughed. She choked. Mom, she said. Her voice was shredded. Barely a whisper. Mom, he's coming back. I pulled her out from under the bed. She was so light. So thin. I could feel her ribs through her shirt. Her skin was pale and cold. I wrapped my arms around her. Who? I said. Who did this to you? She shook her head. Her whole body was shaking. Tears streamed down her face. Her eyes were wide. Terrified. I can't, she said. He said he'd kill us both. He said he'd kill us both if I told anyone. Tell me, I said. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. She opened her mouth. She was about to speak. Then she stopped. Her eyes went wide. Wider than I thought possible. Mom, she said. He's here. Chapter 2. The monster under the roof. I heard the front door open downstairs. The sound was soft. Controlled. Whoever it was, they weren't in a hurry. They knew the house. They knew exactly where they were going. I looked at my daughter. Her face was white. Her eyes were wide with a terror I had never seen in anyone before. Not in 30 years as a school principal. Not in my entire life. Under the bed, I hissed. Now. I shoved her back under. I dropped the bed skirt. I looked around the room. The closet was open. Too obvious. The bathroom door was ajar. Same problem. I was too old to fit in any small space. I had to think fast. I dove into the corner behind the bedroom door. I pressed my back against the wall. I held my breath. My heart was pounding so loud I was sure he could hear it. The footsteps were on the stairs now. Heavy. Slow. Confident. The bedroom door swung open. I saw him before he saw me. It was Mark. My son-in-law. He was wearing a dark jacket and jeans. His hair was longer than the last time I saw him. His face was thinner. His eyes were hollow. Dead. He walked to the bed. He stood there for a moment. He looked down at the floor. I could see his profile in the dim light. He wasn't angry. He wasn't excited. He was calm. That was the most terrifying thing. He bent down. He lifted the bed skirt. He reached under and grabbed my daughter's arm. He pulled her out like she weighed nothing. She screamed. It was muffled. Terrified. Heartbreaking. Please, she begged. Please don't. He slapped her. Hard. Her head snapped to the side. I saw blood on her lip. I told you, he said. His voice was cold. Clinical. If you tried to run again, I'd make it worse. I stepped out from behind the door. I didn't think. I didn't plan. I just moved. Get your hands off my daughter. He turned. He looked at me. For a split second, I saw surprise in his face. Then he smiled. It was the coldest thing I have ever seen. A smile that didn't touch his eyes. Well, he said. Mommy came to visit. I looked at him. I looked at the man who had sat at my dinner table, who had called me mom for 5 years, who had held my daughter's hand at their wedding and promised to love her forever. Mark, I said. My voice cracked. What are you doing? He laughed. A short, hollow laugh. No warmth in it at all. What am I doing? He gestured around the room with a sweeping motion. I'm taking care of my wife. She's been very difficult lately. Haven't you, sweetheart? My daughter was crying now. Sobbing. Her whole body shook. He still had his hand in her hair. He yanked it. Hard. She cried out. He's been doing this for months, she said. He locks me in the basement. He starves me. He beats me. He told me if I told anyone, he'd kill me. I looked at Mark. I looked at the knife in his hand. He was holding it casually, like it was a pen. A hunting knife. Large. Serrated. It gleamed in the dim light. Why? I asked. Why would you do this to her? She loved you. She would have done anything for you. He shrugged. Like it didn't matter. Like she didn't matter. She was going to leave me, he said. Found out about the other women. Wanted a divorce. That's not how things work in this family. You don't leave. You stay. You do what you're told. Other women, my voice was shaking. I couldn't control it. 5, he said. Over the past 2 years. She found out 6 months ago. She confronted me. I told her to get over it. She couldn't. So I had to make her understand. You're insane, I said. He laughed again. Maybe I am. But I'm the one with the knife. He lunged at me. Fast. I didn't have time to think. I sidestepped. His shoulder hit the door frame. He stumbled. I ran for the door. I made it to the hallway. Mom. I turned. He had my daughter by the hair. He was dragging her back into the room. The knife was at her throat. I could see it pressing against her skin. A thin line of blood appeared. Come back here, he said. Or I kill her right now. I stopped. I had no choice. I walked back into the room. He pushed my daughter onto the bed. She landed hard. She cried out. A sharp, painful cry. Good girl, he said. Now sit. Both of you. On the floor. We sat. I pulled my daughter close to me. Her body was shaking. Her skin was cold. Her fingers were raw where the zip ties had cut into her. I held her. I could feel her heartbeat. It was racing. Too fast. Here's what's going to happen, Mark said. He paced back and forth in front of us. We're going to wait until dark. Then we're going to take a little drive. There's a nice spot in the woods. Quiet. Private. No one will find you. He looked at me. His eyes were dead. There was nothing behind them. No remorse. No emotion. Just emptiness. You should have stayed home, he said. He walked out of the room. I heard him go downstairs. The front door opened and closed. He was gone. But he would be back. I turned to my daughter. I cupped her face in my hands. Her skin was pale. Her lips were cracked. Her eye was swollen shut. But she was alive. She was breathing. Listen to me, I said. We're getting out of here. Right now. He locked the doors, she said. He took the keys. He always takes the keys. I looked around the room. The windows were locked. Old sash windows. The kind that stuck. I tried to open one. It didn't budge. I tried another. Same thing. There's a phone, I said. On the nightstand. It's dead, she said. He disconnected it. He took the battery out of the cordless. He took my phone. He's been planning this for weeks. He knew you'd come looking for me. My heart sank. I was trapped. We were both trapped. I looked at the door. Mark had locked it. I could hear him downstairs. moving around, waiting. The basement, my daughter said. There's a window. It's broken. I tried to get up before, but I was too weak. I couldn't lift it. I helped her up. She staggered. She was so weak. Her legs gave out. I have carried her to the stairs. We went down together. Every step was agony for her. I could see the pain on her face. The basement was dark, cold, damp, concrete walls. The steps were steep. We reached the bottom. I could smell mold. And something else. Something metallic. Blood. The window was near the ceiling. Small. Grime-covered. The glass was cracked. I could see daylight through it. Thin shafts of gray light. Give me your shoe, I said. She pulled off her sneaker. It was the only shoe on her feet. The other one was missing. I wrapped it in her jacket. I hit the glass as hard as I could. It shattered. The sound was loud. Too loud. I heard Mark upstairs. His footsteps stopped. I pushed the window frame. It didn't move. I pushed harder. Nothing. It was painted shut. I can't move it, I said. It's stuck. I started kicking. I hit the frame with my foot. My ankle ached. I didn't care. I kicked again. The wood splintered. I pushed. The window opened an inch. Then 2 inches. Finally, enough for a person to fit through. Go, I said. I'll help you up. I lifted her. She was so light. So fragile. She squeezed through the window. She fell onto the grass outside. I heard her land. I heard her groan. I tried to follow. I was bigger. I couldn't fit. My shoulders were too wide. I pushed. I shoved. My jacket got caught on the broken glass. I heard it rip. I pushed again. I was stuck. Mom, hurry, she said. He's coming. I pulled back. I took a deep breath. I pushed again. Harder. This time I felt the wood give. I squeezed through. My shirt tore. I scraped my arms. I didn't care. I was out. I landed on the grass. My daughter was there. She helped me up. We ran. We didn't look back. We ran through the yard. Through the neighbor's yard. We ran until we couldn't breathe. I had my car keys. I'd kept them in my pocket. I unlocked the car. We got in. I fumbled with the keys. My hands were shaking. I dropped them twice. Finally, the engine turned over. I pulled out of the driveway. I looked in the rearview mirror. Mark was standing in the front door. He was watching us. He wasn't chasing. He was just watching. He had a smile on his face. I drove. I didn't stop. I drove until I reached the police station. I burst through the doors. I was crying. I was shaking. I couldn't get the words out. He's there, I said. My son-in-law. He has my daughter. He's been holding her for days. He tried to kill us. Please. Please help us. The officers moved fast. They put my daughter in an ambulance. They took me to an interview room. They asked me questions. Hundreds of questions. I told them everything. I told them about the basement, the knife, the threats, the other women, the theft. They went to the house. They found the blood. They found the rope. They found the broken window. But they didn't find Mark. He was gone. He had disappeared. That was 5 days ago. 5 days since I found my daughter. 5 days since I looked into those hollow eyes. 5 days since I ran for my life. Mark is still out there. But I'm not done. I won't stop. I will not let him hurt her again. I will not let him get away with what he did. I am 73 years old. I am a retired high school principal. I have arthritis in my hands. I have high blood pressure. I have cataracts in both eyes. But I am a mother first. And no mother stops fighting. No mother gives up. No mother lets the monsters win. The police asked me to stay home. They asked me to leave it to them. They said they would handle it. They said they had all their resources on it. I tried. I stayed home for 2 days. I sat in my chair. I watched the news. I waited for a phone call. It never came. He knew where we were. He knew where my daughter was. He had been watching her from outside her hospital window. There was a picture on the nightstand in the cabin. A recent picture. From outside. He knew everything. My daughter sat across from me at the kitchen table. She was eating soup. Slowly. Carefully. Her hands still shook. Her voice was still hoarse. We can't live like this, she said. We can't keep running. We can't keep being scared. What do you want to do? I asked. She looked at me. Her eyes were different now. Harder. Stronger. The terror was still there. But there was something else. Determination. I want to find him, she said. I want to face him. I want to make sure he can never hurt anyone again. I put my hand on hers. Her fingers were cold. But they didn't shake. We'll find him, I said. Together. The fear doesn't go away. It stays. It lurks in the shadows. It hides in the silence. But it doesn't stop us. Nothing stops us. Not anymore. Chapter 3. The hunt begins. The detective came to my house on a Tuesday afternoon. I was in the kitchen making tea. My hands were steady that day. That was rare. Most days they shook so bad I couldn't hold a spoon. Detective Hayes was a big man. Broad shoulders. Gray hair. Kind eyes. He wore a dark suit that didn't quite fit. He carried a notepad. He sat at my kitchen table without being asked. That told me everything. This wasn't a social call. Mrs. Henderson, he said. We need to talk about Mark. I sat down across from him. I put my hands flat on the table. I didn't want him to see them shake. What about him? We found his car. Abandoned on I-71. Just outside of Columbus. No signs of struggle. No signs of foul play. Just a car pulled over on the shoulder. Keys in the ignition. Engine off. Was there blood? I asked. I remembered the cabin. The photo. The blood on the floor. He nodded slowly. There was blood. Not a lot. A few drops on the passenger seat. We're testing it. But we think it's his. I felt the air leave my lungs. His blood. Mark's blood. What happened to him? Where is he now? That's the problem, he said. He's vanished. No credit card activity. No cell phone pings. No sightings. His girlfriend, Lisa, is still in town. We questioned her. She claims she hasn't seen him since he left her at a motel 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I said. You knew about her for 2 days. He held up his hands. We were waiting for confirmation. We didn't want to worry you until we had something solid. I laughed. It came out harsh. Bitter. I've been worried since the day my daughter disappeared. Solid information is all I've been asking for. He had the decency to look ashamed. He flipped through his notepad. He read me the details. The motel. The abandoned car. The blood. The girlfriend. The lies. We found Mark's phone, he said. Also in the car. There was one call on it. A number we traced to a burner phone. The burner pinged at a motel on the edge of town. Lisa's motel. She says he came to her. He was in trouble. He asked her to hide him. She didn't know what he'd done. Did she help him run? She says no. She says he took her car. She says she hasn't seen him since. We don't believe her. What do you believe? He leaned forward. His voice dropped. We believe he had help. We believe he was planning this for a long time. The embezzlement. The gambling debts. The affair. He was in deep. He needed money. He needed to get out of the country. We think he's been planning to disappear for months. With my daughter, I asked. Was he planning to take her? He shook his head. No. That's the thing. He was planning to leave her behind. He was going to let her take the fall. Make it look like she was the one who went missing. She'd be the suspect. He'd be the victim. A grieving husband. I felt sick. The tea in my stomach churned. What about the blood in the car? I asked. Whose is it? We don't know yet. It could be his. It could be someone else's. We're running the DNA. It'll take a few days. A few days. I didn't have a few days. My daughter was safe, but she wasn't safe. Mark was out there. Somewhere. Planning. Waiting. I want to help, I said. I want to find him. Detective Hayes shook his head. No, Mrs. Henderson. That's not how this works. You stay out of it. You let us do our job. You stay home and take care of your daughter. He stood up. He walked to the door. He turned back to face me. His face was serious. Determined. Or we'll find him, he said. I promise. He left. I sat at the table. I stared at the door. I didn't believe him. I called Lisa. I got her number from the detective's report. I asked him for it. He gave it to me grudgingly. He told me not to do anything stupid. I called her. She answered on the second ring. Hello, her voice was small. Scared. Lisa, this is Carol Henderson, Emma's mother. There was a long pause. I heard her breathing. It was fast. Shallow. Mrs. Henderson, she said. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I swear. He told me he was divorced. He told me his wife was dead. I believed everything he said. Where is he? I asked. I know you helped him. I know you gave him a car. I know you lied to the police. Another pause. She was crying now. I could hear it in her voice. He came to my house 3 days ago, she said. He was in trouble. He looked terrified. He said someone was after him. He said he needed a place to stay. I didn't know. I didn't know what he'd done. Where is he now? He left, she said. He took my car. He said he was going to a cabin. In the woods. His grandfather's old place. He said he was going to hide there until things cooled down. Where is the cabin? I don't know. He never told me the exact location. He just said it was in the mountains. Remote. Off the grid. No cell service. No way for anyone to find him. She was crying harder now. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Did he tell you anything else? I asked. Anything that could help me find him? He said he had a plan, she said. He said he had money hidden. He said he was going to leave the country. He said he'd never come back. Did he say where? No. He never told me. I think he knew I might talk. I hung up. I sat there in my kitchen. I stared at the wall. Mark was in a cabin. In the woods. Somewhere in the mountains. Remote. Off the grid. That didn't narrow it down. I spent the rest of the day on my computer. I searched for Mark's grandfather. I found his obituary. He was a construction worker. Lived in the same town his whole life. Had a son. Married. Divorced. No mention of a cabin. I searched for property records. Nothing in Mark's name. Nothing in his mother's name. Nothing in his grandfather's name. If the cabin existed, it wasn't in public records. I called Mark's mother again. She was crying too. She had been crying for days. She told me she didn't know about the cabin. She told me Mark's grandfather had died before she married into the family. She never met him. Did Mark ever talk about it? I asked. Did he ever mention going there sometimes? She said. When he was younger. He'd say he wanted to run away to the mountains. He'd say he wanted to disappear. I thought it was just a fantasy. I didn't think he'd actually do it. Did he ever say where? No. He said it was a secret. His grandfather's secret. A place where no one could find you. I hung up. I was no closer. That night, my daughter came to me. She was stronger now. She was eating solid food. She was sleeping through the night. The bruises were fading. The cuts were healing. But I could see it in her eyes. The fear. It was still there. It would always be there. We need to go to the cabin, she said. We need to find him before he finds us. You're not well enough, I said. You can barely walk. You're still recovering. I don't care, she said. He's out there. He's planning something. I can feel it. He's not going to stop. He's never going to stop. She was right. I knew she was right. Mark wasn't the type to give up. He'd been planning this for months. He'd stolen money. He'd hidden assets. He'd manipulated people. He'd been a ghost in his own life. All right, I said. We'll go. But we're doing it my way. We're doing it smart. No surprises. No mistakes. I made a plan. I packed the car. I took food, water, blankets, a first aid kit, a flashlight, extra batteries. I took a map of the state. A physical map. The kind that doesn't rely on cell service. We left at dawn. The drive was long. The road got smaller. The trees got thicker. The air got thinner. My daughter sat in the passenger seat. She stared out the window. She didn't speak. We stopped at a diner. The only building for miles. I asked the waitress about the cabin. She was old. Her hair was gray. Her eyes were sharp. There's an old place up there, she said. About 20 miles from here. Haven't been used in years. It belongs to some family. Can't remember who. Is it near a creek? I asked. The waitress said she thought so. She told me to look for a red mailbox. It was rusted. Hard to see from the road. We found it. The mailbox was half hidden in bushes. A faded number on the side. We turned down the dirt road. It was rough. Unpaved. The car bounced. The trees closed in. We drove for what felt like hours. My daughter was getting nervous. She was breathing faster. I put my hand on hers. She grabbed it. She held on tight. Finally, we saw it. A small cabin. Wooden. Run down. A porch that sagged. A chimney that leaned. A rusted truck parked out front. It looked abandoned. But there was smoke coming from the chimney. I parked behind the truck. I turned off the engine. We sat there. We watched. The cabin was still. There were no sounds. Do we go in? My daughter whispered. Not yet, I said. We wait. We waited an hour. 2 hours. The sun moved across the sky. The shadows shifted. The cabin stayed still. I'm going in, I finally said. You stay here. If I'm not back in 20 minutes, you drive to the nearest town. You call the police. You don't come back for me. No, she said. I won't let you. We go together. I looked at her. She was stubborn. Stubborn as her father. Stubborn as me. All right, I said. Together. We got out of the car. We walked to the cabin. My heart was pounding. I could hear my pulse in my ears. We reached the door. I pushed it open. It was unlocked. The cabin was empty. No furniture. No blankets. No food. But there was a fire in the fireplace. It was still burning. He was here. He was still here. And he knew we were coming. Chapter 4. The cabin. The fire crackled. It was the only sound in the room. My daughter stood beside me. Her hand was in mine. I could feel her pulse. It was racing. Mom, she whispered. We should go. I shook my head. I stepped further into the cabin. The floorboards creaked under my weight. The fire cast dancing shadows on the walls. It was warm in here. Too warm. Someone had been here recently. He's not here now, I said. But he was. Look. I pointed at the floor. There were footprints in the dust. Fresh ones. Leading from the door to the fireplace and back again. A man's boots. Size 11 or 12. I knew Mark's shoe size. I'd bought him shoes for Christmas 2 years ago. He's been staying here, I said. This is where he's been hiding. My daughter walked to the fireplace. She bent down. She picked up something from the hearth. A photograph. She turned it over. I saw her face go white. It's me, she said. From outside the hospital. He was watching me. He knew exactly where I was. I took the photograph. It was taken from across the street. The angle was low. Like someone sitting in a car. My daughter was walking into the hospital. She was wearing the same clothes she wore the day she was discharged. He's been following us, I said. All this time. He knows where we live. He knows where we go. He knows everything. My daughter started to shake. Her whole body trembled. I put my arms around her. I held her tight. We're not staying here, I said. We're going back to the car. We're calling the police. We're going home. We turned to leave. That's when I heard it. A creak. Behind us. In the corner of the cabin. My heart stopped. I spun around. There was a door. Half hidden behind a bookshelf. It was open a crack. I could see darkness inside. And something else. A shape. A figure. Standing perfectly still. Mark, I said. He stepped out of the shadows. He was wearing a dark jacket. Jeans. Hiking boots. His face was gaunt. His eyes were wild. He had a gun in his hand. A small handgun. Pointed at my daughter. Hello, Carol, he said. I knew you'd find me. My daughter screamed. She tried to run. He fired a shot into the ceiling. Would splinters rain down on us? Don't move, he said. Either of you. Don't move a muscle. We froze. I could feel my daughter's hand in mine. It was cold. Shaking. I held it tight. What do you want? I asked. Why are you doing this? He laughed. That same hollow laugh I remembered from the house. It echoed off the cabin walls. What do I want? He gestured with the gun. I want to be free. I want to get out of this country. I want to start over. But you won't let me. You keep coming after me. You keep interfering. Interfering, I said. You kidnapped my daughter. You held her hostage. You beat her. You starved her. You were going to kill her. He shrugged. She was going to leave me. She was going to take everything. What was I supposed to do? Let her, yes, I said. You were supposed to let her go. That's what normal people do. They get divorced. They move on. They don't lock people in basements. He shook his head. You don't understand. You never understood. I gave her everything. Everything. And she threw it away. She was never grateful. Never satisfied. I had to teach her a lesson. I looked at my daughter. Her face was wet with tears. She was staring at Mark. Her eyes were full of fear and hate. You're a monster, she said. I was married to a monster. His face twisted. Something dark passed over it. He raised the gun. Pointed it at her head. Don't, I said. Don't you dare point that at her. He lowered it slightly. He smiled. It was cold. Cruel. You know what I was thinking, he said. I was thinking about Lisa. Poor, stupid Lisa. She believed everything I told her. She actually thought I loved her. She helped me run. She gave me her car. She gave me her money. And then I left her. Just like I left you. What happened to Lisa? I asked. He shrugged. I don't know. I left her at a motel. She was crying, begging me to stay. I told her I'd come back. I never did. You're a coward, I said. You're nothing but a coward. His face went red. He stepped closer. The gun was pointed at me now. I'm not a coward, he said. I'm a survivor. I've survived everything. My whole life. My father. My bosses. You. I've always survived. Survived what? I said. Your father was a good man. He worked hard. He raised you right. He was proud of you. He never did anything to hurt you. He beat me, he said. Every day. When I was a boy. He beat me until I couldn't stand. He told me I was worthless. He told me I'd never amount to anything. He was right. I looked at him. I saw something in his eyes. Pain. Deep, buried pain. He was a monster. But monsters are made. They don't just happen. Mark, I said. Put the gun down. We can talk about this. We can figure something out. There's nothing to figure out, he said. You're going to die here. Both of you. And then I'm going to disappear. No one will ever find me. Kill us, I said. And you'll never be free. You'll spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder. Every cop in the country will be looking for you. Is that the life you want? I don't care, he said. I just want it to be over. He raised the gun. He aimed it at my daughter's chest. I could see his finger on the trigger. I could see it starting to tighten. And then I saw something else. A movement behind him. A shadow. A shape in the doorway. It was Lisa. She was standing there. Her face was pale. Her hair was wild. She had a tire iron in her hand. She was shaking. Mark, she said. Her voice was trembling. Put the gun down. He spun around. He was surprised. Stunned. Lisa. He said. What are you doing here? Following you, she said. I followed you. I knew you were lying to me. I knew you were coming here. I had to see for myself. You shouldn't have come, he said. You should have stayed where you were. I loved you, she said. I really loved you. And you were just using me. Like you used everyone. Lisa, I can explain. Don't, she said. I don't want to hear it. She raised the tire iron. She swung it at him. He dodged. He fired the gun. The shot went wide. It hit the bookshelf. Books exploded. I grabbed my daughter. I pulled her down. We hit the floor. I covered her body with mine. Stay down, I hissed. I heard another shot. And another. Glass shattered. Wood splintered. Someone screamed. I couldn't tell who. Then I heard a thud. A heavy, wet thud. And then silence. I looked up. Mark was on the floor. He was lying face down. The tire iron was next to him. Lisa was standing over him. She was crying. Sobbing. Her hands were shaking. He's dead, she said. I think I killed him. I crawled to him. I checked for a pulse. Nothing. Lisa, I said. Call the police. Right now. She didn't move. She just stood there, staring at his body. Call the police, I said again. Louder. She snapped out of it. She pulled out her phone. She dialed. She gave them the address. She told them what happened. She was crying the whole time. My daughter got up. She walked to me. She hugged me. We held each other. We stood in the middle of that cabin, surrounded by smoke and glass and death. It was over. It was finally over. The police came. They took statements. They took Lisa away. They took Mark's body. They took everything. We drove home in silence. My daughter was exhausted. She fell asleep in the passenger seat. I drove with one hand on the steering wheel and one hand on hers. The fear doesn't go away. It stays. It lives in the silence. It lives in the dark. It lives in the way my daughter flinches when a door slams or a car backfires. But it doesn't win. It never wins. I look at her now. She's sleeping. Peaceful. The first peaceful sleep she's had in months. The future is uncertain. There are years of healing ahead of us. But we're alive. We're together. We're free. And that's all that matters. We made it. I found her. Under the bed. Scratching. Waiting for me. And I brought her back. Because that's what mothers do. We bring them back. No matter what it takes. Chapter 5. Aftermath. The days after the cabin blurred together. I remember sitting in the police station for hours. I remember giving my statement over and over. I remember my daughter's face as she told them everything Mark had done to her. She didn't cry. She spoke in a flat, steady voice. Like she was reading from a script. Like she had detached herself from the horror. They kept us there until late. They asked about Lisa. They asked about the gun. They asked about the tire iron. I told them everything I saw. I told them Lisa saved our lives. Lisa was charged with assault with a deadly weapon. But the prosecutors saw the circumstances. A woman who was manipulated. A woman who was lied to. A woman who acted in defense of others. They dropped the charges. She was released. I didn't see her again. She moved away. Somewhere far from Ohio. I couldn't blame her. Mark's body was taken to the coroner. The official cause of death was blunt force trauma to the skull. Lisa had hit him twice. The first blow knocked him down. The second killed him. She said she didn't mean to. She said she just wanted to stop him. I believe her. The funeral was small. No one from my family attended. My daughter refused. I didn't push her. Mark's mother came. She sat in the front row. She cried the whole time. She looked lost. Broken. I walked up to her after the service. I didn't know what to say. She spoke first. I'm so sorry, she said. I should have seen it. I should have known. He was always angry. Always hiding things. I thought it was just his way. I didn't realize how sick he was. None of us knew, I said. He hid it well. He was a good boy once, she said. Before his father died. Before everything fell apart. He was kind. He was gentle. I don't know what happened to him. I didn't have an answer. I still don't. We moved. I sold my house in Akron. My daughter sold hers in Columbus. We bought a small house together in a quiet town in Virginia. It had a front porch with a swing. A big backyard with a fence. A garden for my daughter to tend. She spent hours in that garden. Planting. Pruning. Weeding. She said it helped her feel calm. It helped her forget. I watched her from the porch. She looked peaceful. But I knew the peace was fragile. It could shatter at any moment. She went to therapy. Twice a week at first. Then once a week. Then once every 2 weeks. She talked about Mark. About the basement. About the fear. She told her therapist things she never told me. I didn't ask. It wasn't my place. She got a job. A small one. Teaching art at a community center. She was good at it. She connected with the students. They liked her. They didn't know her story. She liked that. I got older. My hair went white. My hands shook more. My hips ached. I needed a cane sometimes. But I kept going. I kept moving. I kept waking up every morning. The fear never really leaves. It's quieter now. Smaller. But it's still there. It lives in the shadows. It lurks in the silence. It whispers in the dark. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night. I listen. I hear the house creak. I hear the dog bark. I hold my breath. I wait. But the scratching never comes. My daughter sleeps better now. She doesn't have as many nightmares. She doesn't wake up screaming as often. She's dating a nice man. A teacher. He's patient. Kind. He knows her history. He doesn't push. She told me she wants to have children. Someday. A family. I felt a tear roll down my cheek. She looked at me. She smiled. Mom, she said. You're going to be a grandmother. I held her. I held her tight. We have a dog. A golden retriever. Big. Golden. Dumb. He sleeps at the foot of her bed every night. He barks at anything that moves. He keeps the nightmares away. I spend my days in the garden with her. I'm too old to do the heavy work. But I can sit. I can watch. I can talk. We talk about everything. The past. The future. The things we lost. The things we found. The past 5 years have been the hardest of my life. I buried a daughter. Not in a cemetery, but in a dark room. Under a bed. Covered in tape and bruises and fear. I found her. I brought her back. But the scars remain. My daughter is not the same person she was before. She was bright. Fearless. Trusting. Now she's careful. She's cautious. She looks over her shoulder. She locks every door. She checks every window. But she's also stronger. She's tougher. She's survived something that would have broken most people. She's learned to stand on her own 2 feet. And I'm different too. I used to be patient. Forgiving. I believed in second chances. I believed people could change. I don't believe that anymore. I've seen the darkness. I've looked into the eyes of evil. And I know now that some people can't change. They can't be saved. All you can do is stop them. Lisa wrote me a letter. It came 6 months after the cabin. She was living in Oregon. She was working as a waitress. She was in therapy. She apologized. Over and over. She said she'd never forgive herself. She said she didn't expect me to forgive her either. I wrote back. I told her I didn't blame her. I told her Mark had manipulated her. Like he manipulated everyone. I told her to move on. To live her life. She wrote back again. She said she was grateful. She said she would try. I never heard from her again. The police reopened the investigation into Mark's other crimes. They looked at his embezzlement. His gambling. His debt. They found money hidden in offshore accounts. Enough to start a new life. He had been planning this for years. They also found evidence of other victims. Other women. Other lies. Other hurts. He was a predator. He had been one for a long time. The world moved on. The news cycles turned. People forgot. But I didn't forget. I will never forget. My daughter is asleep in her room now. It's late. The house is quiet. The dog is snoring at my feet. The moon is full outside the window. I sit in my armchair. I look at the clock. It's 6 o'clock. Sunday evening. My phone doesn't ring. It hasn't rung on a Sunday evening in 5 years. Not since Emma came home. She doesn't need to call anymore. She lives downstairs. She's just down the hall. But I still miss it. I miss the old days. The simple days. When all I had to worry about was a phone call. A voice on the line. A cheerful, "Hi, Mom." I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if my daughter will ever truly heal. I don't know if I will ever truly heal. The wounds are too deep. The scars are too thick. But we're still here. We're still standing. We're still breathing. And that's enough. I think about Mark sometimes. Not in anger. Not in hate. Just in sadness. He was a man. A human being. He had a mother who loved him. He had a wife who trusted him. He had a life. And he threw it all away. But I can't waste my time on him. I can't give him any more of my energy. He's gone. He's dead. He's nothing but a memory. I look at my daughter's door. It's open a crack. I can see her sleeping. Her face is peaceful. She's not having a nightmare tonight. She's smiling. She's smiling. I close my eyes. I take a deep breath. I thank God. Or whoever. Whatever. I thank the universe. I thank the stars. I thank every force that brought her back to me. I found her. Under that bed. Scratching. Waiting. Begging for rescue. And I answered. Because that's what mothers do. We answer. We never stop answering. No matter how old we get. No matter how tired we are. No matter how much it hurts. I am 78 years old now. My hair is white. My hands shake. My hips ache. But my heart is still strong. My will is still iron. And I will never stop. I will never stop protecting her. I will never stop loving her. I will never stop being her mother. The fear doesn't go away. But neither do we. I look out the window. The sun is coming up. The sky is pink and gold. It's a new day. A new chance. A new beginning. I get out of my chair. I walk to the kitchen. I make coffee. I make eggs. I set the table. I call her name. Emma. Breakfast. She doesn't answer. But I hear her stir. I hear her get out of bed. I hear her footsteps on the stairs. She appears in the kitchen doorway. She's wearing pajamas. Her hair is messy. Her face is soft. She looks tired. But she's smiling. Good morning, Mom, she says. Good morning, sweetheart. She sits down. She eats. She talks. She tells me about her plans for the day. The garden. The community center. The man she's dating. She's happy. She's really happy. I sit across from her. I listen. I smile. I hold her hand. And for a moment, just a moment, the fear is gone. Subscribe to our channel for more stories of family survival, love, and vengeance. Tell us in the comments, would you have kept searching, or would you have given up? We read every comment, and your stories matter to us. The nightmares come less often now. But when they do, they come with teeth and claws and the sound of scratching. I wake up in a sweat. I reach for my daughter's door. I open it a crack. I see her breathing. I see her chest rise and fall. She's safe. She's here. I can go back to sleep. It's been 6 years since I found her under that bed. 6 years of therapy. 6 years of healing. 6 years of learning to trust the world again. I still don't trust it fully. I don't think I ever will. The dog is old now. His muzzle is gray. His legs are stiff. He still curls up at the foot of her bed. He still barks at shadows. He still protects her like the day we brought him home. Emma is getting married next spring. A small ceremony. In the garden. She wants me to walk her down the aisle. I told her I'd need a cane. She laughed. She said she wouldn't have it any other way. The man she's marrying is good. Solid. Patient. He knows her history. He doesn't push. He doesn't pry. He just holds her hand when she gets scared and waits for the fear to pass. I like him. I trust him. That's something I don't say about many people anymore. I look at myself in the mirror. My hair is white. My face is lined. My hands shake. I'm old. I'm tired. But I'm still standing. I'm still fighting. The fear doesn't go away. It never does. It lives in the quiet moments. It lives in the dark corners. It lives in the way we lock our doors and check our windows and hold our breath when we hear a strange noise. But the fear doesn't win. Love wins. Family wins. The bond between a mother and her daughter wins. It outlasts everything. It outlasts the monsters. It outlasts the darkness. It outlasts death itself. I close my eyes. I think about that day. The scratching. The silence. The terror. And I think about what came after. The rescue. The healing. The hope. I found her under the bed. I pulled her out. I brought her back. And I would do it again. 100 times. 1,000 times. I would crawl through broken glass. I would walk through fire. I would fight the devil himself. Because that's what mothers do. We keep searching. We never stop. We bring them back. No matter what it takes. Subscribe to our channel for more stories of family survival, love, and vengeance. Tell us in the comments, would you have kept searching, or would you have given up? We read every comment, and your stories matter to us.